From your first day of practice to your very first game, every move you made, every huddle you've broken, every drill, every tackle, every handoff, every block has been preparing you for this moment. The moment you've dreamt about since you were a kid. The moment where your last name will be on the back of some little kid's replica jersey. The moment where your lifelong dream becomes a reality. The moment when you're getting paid to play the game you grew up loving. The day you become one of the guys you idolized as a kid. Well, now that day is here. The day you go from a kid to a professional. Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our 2014 CFL mock draft. We're just going to look at the first round in our March edition, but before we get started, let's take a look at my mock draft rules. Now, here are my mock draft rules, just 3 simple rules that you should follow along with as you view this mock draft. Number 1, the picks are based off as if I were the GM picking for the team. They're based off my perceived team needs. And remember, it's just a mock draft. Calm down and enjoy yourself. And let's start with the number 1 overall selection, the Ottawa Red Blacks. Outside of Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, in my honest opinion, Matthias Golson is the next best offensive line prospect in this draft class. He played center in college at a high level, but with his athleticism, you can even see him being dominant at guard. But remember, if you're outstanding at the center position, you have an outstanding offense. So I think Ottawa gets their franchise started off the right way by building along that offensive line, and no better place to start than at the center position with Golson. The Bombers can go anywhere with the second overall selection, and I go defense with linebacker Bo Landry out of Western, who's the best linebacker in this year's draft class. The former wide receiver has great spatial awareness and coverage skills and would also increase the athleticism at the second level of their defense. I'm a big fan of Adam Thibault's game out of Laval. The 6 feet, 195-pound former wide receiver has outstanding football IQ, and I saw him down at the East-West Bowl back in London, Ontario last year, and he was the game's MVP, and he gives the Eskimos a versatile player that can not only help them out on defense, but also on special teams. The Alouettes go local and help strengthen their offensive line with David Foucault out of the University of Montreal. At 6'8", 320 pounds, he's very strong at the point of attack that can help you out in a running game, but you want to see him get better knee bend in pass protection, but he does have enough skills to hold his own out there on the left side as a pass protector. The Lions have to get younger on the back end, and they get one of the best defensive backs in the draft class in Andrew Liu out of Queen's University. He has good frame at 6'2", 210 pounds, and is an excellent zone corner that understands body positioning and uses his size to his advantage. And I think he'd be a player that has a great chance of playing very early and often as a rookie. I believe the Argonauts could go defensive line, but I also think there's a need for a big body wide receiver on the inside, and at 6'5", 202 pounds, Devin Bailey out of St. Francis Xavier uses his size to create separation and gives the quarterback a huge radius to throw the football to. Now, he must become a little bit more polished as a route runner, but the raw skills are there enough to help them out in the red zone and definitely down the middle of the field. I believe the Stampeders are a pretty well-stocked football team on both sides of the ball, but depth alone at offensive line is where I would go, and the way this mock falls, they get a steal in the first round in center Pierre Levertu out of Laval, and technique-wise, he has a lot to clean up, but the raw talent is there, and he should have a nice, long career in the CFL. I believe this could be an ideal situation for the Rough Riders after losing talented tailback Corey Sheets to the Oakland Raiders in the NFL, and they grabbed the best running back and one of the most explosive players in the draft, and Anthony Coombs out of Manitoba, who I think could probably go earlier as high as number 2 to Winnipeg. This guy has tremendous versatility, not only as a runner, but as a receiver, and also has that added value as a kickoff and punt returner. For example, you can see right here lined up as a receiver, just gives the offense that much more versatility and flexibility, much more than what they had with Corey Sheets, who was an outstanding football player. But I think Coombs could be a difference maker for this Rough Rider football team, and they'll be lucky to have him fall this far in the draft. Rounding out the first round are the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and I know they still own the rights to last year's first overall selection defensive tackle Lyndon Gadosh out of Calgary, but he went to the NFL, so you don't know when he's going to return, but I still think they have to get better up front defensively, so Derek Wigan out of Queen's University at 6'1", 254 pounds makes a lot of sense, giving the Ticats an athletic edge rusher with the length to be a factor on both ends of defense. One prospect we didn't talk about was Laurent Duvernay-Tardif out of McGill at 6'5", 315 pounds. He has #1 overall pick type talent, but he wants to weigh his NFL options heavily, so teams will not feel comfortable spending a first round pick on him. So look for him to go off the board, maybe 4th or 5th round, but this guy has enough talent to play guard, tackle, even center in a pinch, so you can see him playing a long time in the NFL or even up north in the Canadian Football League. So here's how my March mock draft shakes out. I believe every one of these guys will have a huge impact to whichever team they go to, because all of these guys are excellent football players that had outstanding careers in the CIS.